Oh, AC family, we have some movement. Look, it's the temple, quivering ever so slightly to smell the air on this first day above ground. I'm not too sure why Hades stayed relaxed like this on his planet, but I was certain he was finding the crisp air of the overworld invigorating and life-giving. In darkness your entire life, and then emerging to greet a strange but alluring world above. But there are so many reasons why the arrival of Hades here means so much to us. In fact, we, the AC family, have been waiting for this moment for months.
So the red's like the rocket launcher.
It was just Thanksgiving, and I was prepping some fatty rhino beetle grubs for the slaughter as a feast for all the hungry ant colonies. Boy, am I glad I couldn't close down those blades of death to kill the naked and defenseless beetle larvae on that fateful evening.
Don't let it get to you.
It's funny how nature plays out, often with such irony, because these rhino beetles actually went on to save the Golden Empire, one of our longtime OG ant colonies that were on the verge of complete extermination via blood-sucking mites by lending their own predatory hypoaspis mites to their life-saving quarantine. These rhino beetles overall have been an absolute blessing to the Antiverse. Wouldn't you guys say? But AC family, before we move on with what everybody's been waiting for, like
feed the cats.
I happen to have another surprise I need to show you. Have a look. It seems Hades was not the only newcomer this week. I assume most of us may have forgotten that there was another beetle developing quietly on the side. A female. I could tell this new female emerged when I wasn't looking because the sword had been moved around. We didn't give her a name because she was young and we weren't sure if she'd be arriving on time for the games.
He's in the clouds, I can't get to him.
She wasn't missing this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. She will now be named Artemis, after the Greek goddess of the wilderness, bringing our female count to 4. Her symbolic banana has been placed within the chambers of the rhino beetles tonight, because finally,
big fella,
the time has come, and the beetles will be needing all the energy and nourishment they can get. For tonight marks the start of the biggest, most epic event in the history of the Antiverse. The very first Rhino Beetle Games 2019, an Olympic-style beetle competition that will blow.
Don't be a Dark Souls.
Most of you guys already have chosen a team among the 7 male Rhino Beetle players. But if you haven't, don't worry. We're usually able to choose a team in a little bit. Even I selected what team I'm part of. Guys, it's time to have
nice water, I like water.
Alright. Nose down, little guy.
It's the eve before the Rhino Beetle Games.
And in the silence of the Antiverse,
I watched as the beetles began to emerge from their stomach, coming to the surface to feed.
No trains.
whoa. Why do we have to do this to this one? What makes this one special?
Little did these beetles know what was up ahead for them was something that changed their lives forever. And first up to change were these rolling chambers, which we call the Chambers of Sudan, named after the last male northern white rhino who passed away last year.
We'll be doing it
These
by
chambers
accident.
have served their purpose of providing a safe haven for these rhinos to mature from just babies to fully formed adults. But these beetles no longer needed rearing chambers, which by now have become quite lifted over the past 5 months.
Oh, they were attached
Prior
to
to this
something.
huge event up ahead, it was time to give our gladiators some new moral accommodation so they could truly live like heroes. AC family, behold, the Sudan Suites. Each of these luxurious condos are specially designed to house rhino beetles, and as you can see, they are each customized and branded with the official badges of our gladiators, completely ready to house them. These will be the new homes of our rhino beetles throughout the competition, until the ultimate winner, along with all the females, move
Eat the
to
food.
the prized beetle of the state. But more about that later. I was excited to move the gladiators in.
Dude, he kamikaze. I wish it into existence.
We need to give these suggestions a
The
5-star
spirit
review,
flew into me.
which we boast.
Oh my gosh, you do damage.
Of coconut.
There has to be something
The
here.
erosion of coconut plantations, the penalty of defogging, which supposed to be luxurious, pillowy beds
They don't usually
of our
shoot that
real
frequently.
Prepare
Okay, only 3 shots on them. I need to remember
produce the
that.
world's best substrate in which our VIP beetles should
Oh,
be
red
living
umbrella?
and sleeping.
They're strong too.
And voila! Look
I
at
don't
that
think I should
coconut.
be here anymore.
Does that not just scream beetle glamour? I think so. I place the substrate carefully
Perfect
into each
black
of the Sudan
boost.
sweets. And then suddenly,
Hello.
it's time to welcome the rhino beetles into their new
Hola.
homes. And this Sudan
Uh-oh.
is now our chance to get a closer look
That's the
at
magic
each of
thing.
your chosen rhino beetle gladiators. Bring out the gladiators! In this bowl,
There's a
we
few
will
of them.
meet and admire our gladiators.
That's
Starting
why.
with Eric.
Can I get to that room? Yeah.
Aries. Look at him go! Aries is a strong beast with a solid build and a dark chestnut brown coat. He's got great energy and is quite agile, even on this slippery surface. As he lays still, we can see that he sports an impressively sized horn. Team Aries, behold your champion. If you're Team Aries, sound off in the comments to cheer on your gladiator. And don't forget to use the hashtag Team Aries. Next, we meet Apollo. Mice family. He's a fast one. He's actually the littlest of all the male rhino beetles. But look at him go. He's quick and nimble, very effective on his feet. He sports beautiful reddish-brown elytra. Now Apollo has a rather tiny form,
How
but
much I
it seems
feel
like
like
he
it
lacks
from
in
sneaking
physique.
up on her?
He makes up for it in
I
athleticism.
think that's just a
Another thing that
gentleman.
makes Apollo special is that he was the first to donate his hypoaspis points for our experiment, which sought out to discover if the hypoaspis points on the bodies of these beetles could be used to eradicate
See?
the Golden
Found
Empire's
that
mud
before.
problem, which ultimately led on to save it. Guys, if you're Team Apollo, sound off in the comments to cheer on your heroic gladiator. Remember the hashtag. Up next, we have a crowd favorite. The audiences are roaring as we welcome Poseidon. And holy
Can't see
damn,
the
Poseidon is absolutely
H
massive,
button or something.
easily among the biggest of the male
It's
rhino
over
beetles.
here.
This juggernaut sports huge horns both top and bottom. He's quite strong and has a lot of energy as he moves around this bowl. Poseidon exudes unstoppability. If you're part of the fandom that is Team Poseidon, sound off in the comments for your gladiator. And don't forget the hashtag. Moving along, we have our next great gladiator, Hephaestus. As soon as I put him down, he stood completely still. He looked a little low energy and almost sad. Could it be because he knew he had the least fans rooting for him? With Team Hephaestus making up less than 1% of hashtags so far, he didn't have the biggest fans, nor the biggest bid, nor beautiful collegiate. Like the other boys, it was for this reason that Hephaestus has become the official underdog of the competition, and also my personal hope to win the Rhino Beetle Games. Hey, you better believe I'm going to partake in these games too. And admittedly, I'm a sucker for the underestimated and distraught. AC family, if you're also Team Hephaestus, let's make some noise for our gladiator and boost his morale so he can take the win. Let's make it so the competition can't ignore our hashtag in the comments. Next up, we got Dionysus. Now Dionysus was actually the second lowest in the popularity votes. But for you 4% who have actually been championing Team Dionysus from the start, I think you'd be very pleased to see him now. We can see that he bears a massive hypoaspis mud population. His body houses an entire country of hypoaspis plants on his chest. Wow! It does look kind of repulsive if you're new to rhino beetles. But just a reminder that these are predatory hypoaspis plants that eat bad plants, not parasitic plants. Here, our friends, you'll also be happy to know that Dionysus sports one of the thickest and most solid horns in the game. That girth, though, it displays strength, energy, a gorgeous exoskeleton, and we now know is popular with the mites. If you're Team Dionysus, let the wine overflow and sound off in the comments for your gladiator. And next up, we have Zeus. Wow, the grip on him is just insane. It took me a while to pry him off, and his leg spines really hurt. But as soon as his huge body hit our hole, Zeus suddenly regained his composure and took on a surprising air of majesty. OMG, look at this, AC family. Hypoaspis skated gracefully across his perfectly polished elytra as he began to slow trot, almost painful and stately, around the board. Like the Greek ruler of the gods he was named after, Zeus was truly an alpha beater. He knew it. Oh, look at him bow for you! What a showman! If you're Team Zeus, sound off in the comments to cheer on your gladiator. And last but not least, garnering the next biggest fan base, after Poseidon, I present to you our youngest of the males, Hades, the crush of the people. For those of you who call him Hades even before actually seeing him in his adult form, behold, turns out your gladiator Hades is the biggest of all male rhino beetles in the caves. Look at the size of those horns. Wow! Hades turned out to be a gorgeous Adonis of a beetle. Huge horns, the biggest we've ever seen. And despite his youth, it seems Hades does not fall short in strength, speed, nor agility. And right before leaving the pole, he looks out at us, winks his antenna, and takes a bow. Hey, did he just steal that move from Zeus? Team Hades, sound up in the comments with your gladiator, another crowd favorite, who's officially breaking hearts around the world. What a flirt! And that AC family is all 7 of the competing male rhino beetle gladiators. But before you guys start switching your allegiances to other teams, perhaps to gladiators with bigger horns or more athletic builds, let me remind you that body nor horn size necessarily guarantees victory in these rhino beetle games. How so? Alright, so if you're new here, here is a rundown of how these rhino beetle games will work.
It was hard enough to get through this without it.
See, is a sort of Rhino Beetle Olympics meets Rhino Beetle Amazing Race with a series of competitions that will act as both rewards for the top winners and elimination rounds for the bottom losers. The Rhino Beetle games will be composed of a series of 6 elimination rounds with specific challenges that will test Rhino Beetle skills utilized in real-life situations in the wild. All 7 males will compete against each other in these 6 challenges, which will test their innate strength, agility, speed, and other proficiencies that help rhino beetles survive in the wild. Each challenge will allow us to get a glimpse of just how magnificent these beetles are as we witness their amazing displays of strength, agility, speed, etc. Now, the first place of every challenge will win a special prize that may or may not give them an upper hand for preceding challenges, while the last place of every challenge will merit release back into the wild, where they will be collected. Depending on how you see it, liberation of the losers can mean that all beetles win, no matter what. Now, as for what the ultimate winner of the entire Rhino Beetle Games wins, I'll get to that in just a second. But first, here is the Rhino Beetle Games 6 scoring events. Elimination Round 1, the Rhino Dive. Elimination Round 2, the Strength Test. Elimination Round 3, the Amazing Food Race. Elimination Round 4, Stridulation Idol. Elimination Round 5, the Search for Love. And last but not least, the final elimination round, the Joust, which will be the highly anticipated beetle fight of the century between the top 2 Rhino Beetle Gladiator finalists, taking place in the Rainbow Stadium. Just know, guys, that all Rhino Beetle Games sporting events are designed with the beetle safety in mind, and you can rest assured that under no circumstances will they be put in a harmful or overly stressful situation.
Give me a minute.
Even during the final jousting,
Let me regain my composure.
by trying to knock their opponent off a landing, like a stick or rock. The losing beetles don't die, and their exoskeletons are hard, so they don't sustain injuries. The only injury they sustain from a rhino beetle fight is a solid blow to their confidence pillars. But don't worry, I have a special prize in mind for the second prize for next year. Now going back to my point on whether super large horns or body gives a male rhino beetle the upper hand at survival and mating in life, and furthermore, at winning in our rhino beetle games, it's questionable. You see, large conspicuous horns might be beetles easy to spot by predators. It might be an encumbrance when trying to travel or run away. It might even be harder to dig with. Who knows? But we'll be able to gain more insight and answers to these curious questions while these great 2019 Rhino Beetle games is in progress. And AC family, here's where our epic participation comes in. They're rooting for is because I'm going to keep track of who is rooting for who, and at the end of these games, I'll be giving out a special prize from the Ads Canada shop for 10 lucky subscribers. Yes, you, AC family, who have been championing the winning Rhino Beetle all this time. Choose only one Rhino Beetle Gladiator to qualify, as those of you trying to choose more than one will not qualify to win the prize. And guys, also feel free to share this video with all your nature-loving friends so they too can join in on the fun. Finally, of course, you must subscribe to this channel to qualify. Now, about what the grand prize is for the ultimate winner of the entire 2019 Rhino Beetle Games, the winner of the Joust event, well, AC family, he shall inherit a beetle inheritance, complete with space, food, guaranteed protection from predators in the security of our amphibian, and of course, the female rhino beetles to breed with. And speaking of which, AC family, it's time we meet our lucky madams. Behold, Artemis, our youngest lady, dark and quaint. Athena, nimble and smooth. Aphrodite, who posed for us, so we could bask in the glory of her beauty. And when I got to Hera, what I discovered as I dug into the soils shocked me. I'm sad to admit.
Look alive. Resolve the mess.
To announce that Hera, though seen emerging on a few nights, had sadly passed away. How sad. Guess this is the harsh reality in nature. Sometimes, some beetles don't make it, and so, our female count is back to 3. But don't worry guys, I had a plan to honor Hera in an immense way through these Rhino Beetle games, which you'll see later. But now, AC family,
it's actually pretty good.
the moment we've all been waiting for.
Good morning, Antiverse! The time is 6 a.m. and you're tuned into Rocksteady FM with DJ VW
and DJ Lee B.
Now, unless you've been living under a rock, which is pretty much the most of us, you probably have been anticipating this Titanic event.
That's right, VW. The 2019 Rhino Beetle Games are happening in just a few moments. And we've got all the best RPG coverage coming right up. So don't touch that dial. Just a reminder that the Rhino Beetle Games are brought to you by AdsCanada.com. Visit AdsCanada.com and remember, it's their product forever.
You know what, Lady? I think it's safe to say that we're here at the station. Pretty stoked to see Gladiator Zeus take the win today.
Oh, no way! Team Hades all the way.
Definitely in the
I want to
cards
marry him.
Okay, that's just wrong.
All the buzz and anticipation for the games has been building up to a climax throughout the entire Antiverse. All the Ant Kingdoms and Beasts were up earlier than usual to catch this very first and pivotal event of its kind to ever grace the Ant World. With front row seating to the games, we have the AAA Rhino Beetle females, Aphrodite, Artemis, and Athena, ready to watch the males compete and quietly cheering them on.
We don't have
As for our males,
by the way.
they were warming up
We
on the
never had that
sidelines,
before.
preparing for the first epic sporting event they were each about to partake in.
Now, this first sporting event the Gladiators are gearing up for is called the Rhino Tower, and will test these Rhino Beetles on their ability to dig into the soil.
That's right, VW. In the wild, a Rhino Beetle's ability to dig into the soil could spell life or death at the onset of a predator. I'm interested to see which of our 7 male rhino beetle gladiators will prove to be the best of the best diggers.
Each of the gladiators will be placed onto a platform, upon which they will each be given 3 minutes to ultimately submerge themselves into the earth. Sounds easy, right? Well, not so fast. Under all that dirt, the entire digging field is full of obstacles, twigs, rocks, and sphagnum moss. That might make digging much more challenging.
Ooh, it's gonna be tough if any of the males fail to completely submerge themselves into the earth. By the time the 3 minutes is up, they proceed to an elimination round challenge to fight for their spot to remain in the rhino games and ultimately be antlers.
All right, Lady B, looks like the hour has come to determine the official order in which the gladiators will be competing.
Let's watch this. I'm nervous.
The Antiverse's very own Creator Worlds has prepared the order for each of the male's scales, and is sending in his griffin from the Netherworlds to choose the official
There's an absorb down there.
Who will be the first of the beetles to compete? The griffin deliberates and grabs a name. Poseidon! Alright.
No. I'm trying to see if I can counter those. See, I counter the things they throw at me. But they're physical objects that I counter. I don't know if I counter ethereal magic yet.
The creator of worlds is pretty.
Yeah, perhaps he just might surprise us.
After thesis, we'll be done thesis.
We could just cancel it out with our magic. Okay.
Is that so?
Following Dionysus, the small bugger
I like Apollo. He's our mandibles, donating his rights to light research, saving sick ants and other terrariums around the Antiverse.
Very noble indeed. Up next will be...
Oh, my ultimate crush, Hades.
Let's get these stores down here and find our way back upstairs.
Definitely has that it factor, and is undoubtedly a crowd pleaser. I think his management is in negotiations now for a multi-million banana movie contract.
Oh, I totally watch anything with him in it.
Following Hades will be Ares, another
I remember Ares is at Ares.
This is only meant to become the date his egg was laid. You'll have to check his Wikipedia page for that. So if Ares being second last, it means our gladiator Zeus shall be going last.
He's such a gentle little that Zeus.
Yep, he's truly distinguished and noble inside and out. I'm sure he'll put on a great show for us. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the official order of competition in the Rhino Beetle Games.
All right,
the Rhino Beetle National Anthem.
Can't be that easy though.
Alright, Easy Family. Now the moment has come. Let the Rhino Beetle Games begin.
Raspberry lemonade flavor Mountain Dew straw.
We've decided. Cheer on your gladiator. Go! Poseidon makes his way quickly towards the back. And immediately dives into a pocket below some sphagnum moss. There is nothing stopping Poseidon now. He's almost under. And he's concealed. Wow! Poseidon finishes with a great time of 38.27 seconds. Team Hephaestus, cheer on your gladiator. Go! Let's go, Hephaestus, buddy! I mean, go Hephaestus. surprisingly freezes right at the wall. The time was ticking. Oh, come on! Start digging! Hephaestus needed to absolutely be under
Shoot,
by
it's gonna
3
be one of
minutes
those because
before
there's
he would
such a
proceed to
slight
the
delay in
bottom
the
elimination
jump.
challenge where he would compete for his chance to stay
See,
in
I
the
pressed
games.
it, but if you run faster than the jump initiates,
As the time ticked on and on,
it's a big
Hephaestus
problem.
was not going to budge. It seemed he was a bit tired and just wanted to relax. Perhaps past his bedtime. Hephaestus continued to rest here, not moving, until the timer passed the 3-minute mark. Oh,
It's almost like the nut.
he failed the challenge and was going to proceed to the elimination round. Team Dionysus, cheer on your gladiator! Go! Dionysus raced to the front and began to climb the glass wall. No! He fell onto his back!
Holographic square shape
No!
sticker is really
Masterful recovery from the fall.
One of the cats are gonna want that. It's a collectible.
He moved swiftly now to the right corner of the digging field, searching ever so carefully for the perfect spot to dig.
I think I'm ready to try to go this way now. Or fast travel back here and try to trace that nature cat.
And yes, it looks like Dionysus found a spot. He starts to dig with about 1 minute passed on the clock. Team Dionysus, will your gladiator make it below the surface before 3 minutes?
I think I might hold on.
And yes, he's in at only 1 minute and 38 seconds. Great work, Dionysus. He's safe this week. Team Apollo, cheer on your gladiator. Go! Small but terrible Apollo races to the right side.
To find more shot.
Let him go. What a turbo gladiator.
Yeah.
He heads straight for the moss.
Doesn't mean anything, that's unfortunate.
And attempts to climb the glass and squeezes behind the plants. Will he find a spot below ground to dig though?
Doing like 500. Like Jesus statues, that's so cool.
Did you actually pray?
Of course.
Oh yes, I know that one.
This right here is an ecosystem ground.
Did we get those up? It's hard to tell. Which ones are blurred out here? But they have a filter option. Yeah, it's just a Jesus statue.
This right here is an ecosystem ground.
Look at all these
I've not seen the water change in a whole year.
Yeah, leave anything in.
Now I know what you're thinking. Utter BS, MD. But honestly, like, I'm not the only one to have done this, and I'm sure if you look down in the comments, like, not straight away, but if this video has been out a little while, you'll see other people as well that have done this, and this aquarium is
Terrible. What items each shop sells from the map. I can't remember which game did that.
But about this tank, is it? So yeah, a year of something running, I think you can safely say that, oh my goodness, can you hear that? The building downstairs in the gym. Yeah, a little bit. For a year without any water changes. I think we can call that a success, can't we? So let's take you back and show you how we created this.
See if I can. Excuse me, stuff up here. See? I didn't want to grab. That dog looks like he knows something.
One step at a time. Eat up, pal. 22?
So I think it's fair to say that a lot has changed in a year, hasn't it? I mean, for instance, a lot more words going on now than when I first planted the tank. Now, believe it or not, I haven't actually added any new plants to the tank. It's just that when I planted them, they were in a different setup, and they were more green because the lighting was so high. Now, I also added a second light to this tank, so you can see there's one, there's two. Initially, I had it hanging, didn't I, when I first did that setup. This is quite high, actually. And then quite quickly I realised, oh, we can go to higher lighting. But it was good to start on the lighting that we did, because it meant that we didn't get tons of algae. Another interesting fact, I didn't actually plant any moss in this tank on anything at all. So all of the moss that you can see here has come from other tanks and was like obviously intertwined with the plants in my garden, which is quite fun.
Welcome to the DNZ.
Tried to grab him. So I guess he already saw this video.
This stuff is just sort of spread everywhere. And like I said, I don't think we're going to change it because it's an ecosystem. Yeah, ecosystem plans, I think it's major continue to capture these here. Is actually removing some of the fertilizers because this tank is actually looking very darker than it needs to.
Get trigger happy.
The good thing about the Salvador that we used to do it,
well, let me get to the key.
up in plants so easily just to remove it. I've used duckweed in the past, and at the start of this tank with duckweed, very quickly I was trying to scoop it out because it was just getting tangled in everything. After the second tank, normally scoop for like tanks where you've got fish that will eat it, so maybe a goldfish tank. Other fish eat them as well, but in total, turtles is quite good as well, so good as well. So yeah, Salvia was my second go-to, and nowadays I use the new water lettuce. You can see now actually the amount of flies coming out.
It has to be
you can see there, look, the amount of flies
instant.
floating out into the water.
Quickly enough for it to count as a one strike thing. Doing it wrong.
How much of a difference that's made. It's got brighter everywhere now. So I've actually taken out Bobby Fox after that Salvia. But that's probably because there's not a lot of nutrients in the water column, and any that are there are producing new plants straight away. And I actually did this about a month ago, so a whole point in a month, it's pretty good going, and it's not too much to keep on top of. But I know there's going to be some of you that are thinking, okay, how do we do this ourselves? I'm not really telling you how. I showed you the build video, but let's explain some details in case you want to be one side and one over the other. And
That is.
a whole lot of sand.
No, that thing has weird sound. No. I don't know where to go. I don't understand it, so it needs to die.
Turn off all these lights because they were reflected in the glass in the middle of the building. So yeah, put them back on. So yeah, this is my rare fish ecosystem, and when I set this up, I pretty much did it in a similar way. Since the main ecosystem has developed a few more skills, what I noticed is that I put Axel now a little media bag and then packet sand, just as it can be usual, doesn't mix in with all the sand or see it, and I think it's a great result that you can clearly see the plants are growing amazing. Now in this tank, I put a lot of fish in straight away. We had about, I don't know, a couple of fish straight away.
It might have been better to sneak up on it.
We'll just
probably missed the chance to kill it.
And we've got green restorers as well. We've got celestial Peldanios, and galaxy restorers. We've got a load of rainbow fish. We've got chili restorer there. There's so much going on in this tank, absolutely love it. Now, it's not been anywhere near as plain sailing as the other ecosystem. It's only just starting to get balanced in fact. It's been well over a few months now. A few months or approaching a few months at least. And we've got the gold laser stories as well. I also added 2 lights from the start.
Wow.
Again, not making any of this impossible, but a lot more difficult. So I have high nutrients as a waste for the fish. I have high lighting, and it's taken 1.5 to 2 months to get balanced. Whereas the other one, it was great from the start, and it didn't become unbalanced. Do you know what I mean? So
what is that? Healing? No. You forgot you're a nurse, of course. Get rid of you.
To start with, very minimal. So next up on the agenda,
And that's at 7 bullets.
I know it can seem really confusing, right? So the key thing, one of the first key things is the floating particle. The second thing is this bad boy right here. So it's a little internal filter, it's not little.
Oh, of course, it's one more.
It's about 800 litres an hour, about between a gallon. And it's just got a little sponge section underneath. Now, the idea of doing this is to blow water around. The idea being that not too much collects on the base or the substrate there. It just lifts up into the water column, comes back around, and eventually the sponge will collect it. Now, what this means is that once a month, probably, when it starts to make a noise, is it so
oh, it's getting weird again.
Out the top, take that sponge out, squeeze it into some little pots,
and make sure I'm
put the water into this scale plant here, which is very easy, and this.
I don't know what it did here.
But it's also going really well. So yeah, we're exploring nutrients quite in 2 ways then. By taking out float plants, moving on to grow, using the nutrients, and by taking out that sponge and cleaning it out. And you can also trim as much as you want.
We can walk on water, 10 out of 10.
Waste, isn't it? Because new ones have to grow, and they have to use new nutrients. So there's plant. There's a flower. That's going all the way down there with these quadrant something.
Alright, I'm ready for this weirdness.
Cool. But it's like a mini Amazon sword, and that makes sense. These little things like Amazon swords as well.
Right.
Anyway, about maintenance. So yeah, you have
hold
the
on, there's a
the plants as much as you
nope, we're not doing that yet.
Here, of course, and just let it do its thing. I mean, the only time I've trimmed the stems is
I don't like dying frequently as I do anything.
Which is what I would do in it soon. But for instance, on this ecosystem
Taking
tank here,
detours.
which is a very efficient curve, I do lots of trimming all the time and keep it nice and neat.
Get GTA Online free on PS5.
Please. What? Oh yeah, I downloaded it, but I didn't start playing it yet. I heard it's more like, easier to get into, but at the same time, every room I've ever been in, or every time I'm in the world, people are just killing each other and flying planes into each other and stuff.
Trim up, isn't it? And the rare fish aquarium,
but I'm gonna try it out.
The trimming tool yet, but it won't be long, will it? I'm getting to that point now. where it needs to trim back. But yeah, I think if you want to go with that proper raw sort of look, then just leave it. Like, that's all natural, all of that settled there, and it's over board and grew there. Again, you can try to find it in the most healthiest, try to cleanse. There's only a few bad ones that we've taken out. And again, I just left it, let it do its thing, and it does have its really cool effect. It's top in the water up about once a month, the water drops about here, and I've got a lot of open tanks, haven't I, guys? So what I make sure that I do is never fill it up. Like, this is on YouTube, that's on the top that happens to do the water comes out of it. I'm pretty sure they only do that for the photos, the video, and all. So I just keep it about an inch and a half, just do that and make them up as well. Also the fertilizer. I just use API. Both these videos it's just the API leaf, so it's kind of great. It's like a new one. You get some big so you have to put with the good one to get in like everything you need. But yeah, when it's yellow, leaves, that sort of thing, take them. So I always do big ones. One full pack boy, and then second full pack boy as well. And then the half size comes to 6 teaspoons. I just do a pack boy. I don't know if that's the right amount.
What's its face, bro?
I see it. Out on the dosing side of things, it's all good in the bottles and everything like. So there you have it then. I mean, really, that's pretty simple, right? And that was what I did when I set these up. I wanted to set a lot of tanks using my field, and that's what I do as the ecosystem goes. So now we've got single tunnel filter, cheap lighting, although I've doubled up, but it's still cheaper than the expensive kind of light. You know, no nutrients as well, it's these low stocking levels at the start, at least you can add more as you move along. You only have minimum tank. If you want to go for that proper eco look, you want like a, I don't know, a full straight look or a deep thing, stuff like that at all. But ultimately, I think what we've demonstrated here is that it doesn't have to and also it doesn't have to have hundreds of hours put into it every week as well. Hopefully it's something that you will enjoy and you enjoy the video. Many people ask you to subscribe. At the start of the video, I'm going to show you anything at all. I'm going to ask you to subscribe now. If you fancy doing that, it means a lot to me. I hope you're going to see you in the next one. See you later. Bye.
At Petco, you can set repeat deliveries on your schedule. Or on his. For all your pet's health and wellness needs, you can Petco again.
Anywhere that I feel comfortable and I see that I will take it. I do not continue my health journey and I feel so
This one here is what I like to call an ecosystem as well. Why is it called that here, you ask? Well, I haven't done a water change in this in like 10, 11 months now. All I do is top up water as it evaporates. The whole thing just sort of runs itself. A little bit of feeding for the fish, but they're reproducing and they're constantly making babies. It's like I say, one big ecosystem, round and round and round. But what about the excess nutrients from the evaporation, I hear you ask? Well, it seems to be covered. We're trimming plants out, removing floating plants back there as well. And all of that combined means that nutrients in the water, like minerals and stuff like that, are all being exported, and we just get this much balance. So this has become pretty much the pattern of the odd one is not like that, but the majority of them are. I really enjoy making them that way. It's one of those things where you just sit back, watch the tank evolve. And I don't know about you, but I'm not one of those speakers that wants to be constantly cleaning glass, siphoning out, vacuuming sand. I do not vacuum any sand in my tanks. I never have. This is because I've got heavily planted tanks, and I want the plant roots to use the nutrients that's going down into the substrate. Now, we also have this ecosystem bowl right here that's doing so well. It's been running for a good few months. It's got like 1 million views as well, the build video for that. So you guys really enjoyed it. It's home to a load of shrimp and snails, and I just do not do a thing to it. There's no filter in it at all, apart from the plant life. It's just awesome. We've got that light just hanging right at the top, a little bit sort of ambient light and anything. It works so well. larger scale. So you can see down here, we've got coarse gravel, and then we've got a cap of sand. In between that is a layer of aquasoil as well in bags. We need to make that first in this tank here. This is the tank that I'm going to be using. What an absolute beast of a tank. This one's made by Aquariums for Life, and I'll put the stats up on the screen of the size of it because I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know that it's
I've only seen one tango that I can't reach.
It's as deep that way as it is that way. Width and height are almost the same. I think it's 50 centimetres tall and 60 centimetres wide. So 2 foot wide, almost 2 foot tall, and 4 foot all the way across. Now for the lighting, I'm using 2 strip LEDs. They're very, very cheap ones. I think they're like £40 for this, I don't know, 3.5 foot. I've just hung from the ceiling with a little bit of fishing line, some hooks. I've been up there now for like well over a year, so I know it's all fine, it's all good. Now these are the same lights as the ones we've got over there on the original Ecosystem Aquarium. And it's the same ones that I'm using here across the top of my shrimp rack, which is just doing so good. Look at the talent in the carbon motor tank. And I've also got the same ones across this new rack I'm starting as well. Oh yeah, this is the short version of it. I've got it over the Corleone tank. There's the Corleones have just been fed, so they're all going everywhere. And then the even shorter version on my planted dirty tank and on my sparkling Rami tank over here as well. And the small one on my albino cherry barb tank, and also the small one on my neon tetra, again ready for food, jungle aquarium. Oh, look at that, lovely. Oh yeah, how can I forget? I've also got one on the Platy Island Aquarium, and the smallest one they do on my Peace Lily Beta Paludarium QB. Where are you? Alright, oh there you are. You've been making bubbles, haven't you? Look at the mess you made of the tank. You do what you want. And if you're feeling like you didn't see enough of those tanks, you want to see them in a lot more detail, then don't worry. Very soon I'm going to be doing a full tour of both my studios. I've got 2 rooms here, like 30, 40 tanks, something like that. I don't even know anymore. Anyway, that's coming up, so make sure you put the bell on to make sure you get a notification when that video is available. I'm not going to do this on time this month, it's going to be a huge one, loads of detail on everything. Now this tank has been sat empty for a month now, I'm going to get started on it, so let's get going. First of all, we need that gravel layer all at the bottom. This is going to be a great area for beneficial bacteria to colonise, and it also allows water to sort of transfer through it because it's not compact. Stones create gaps in between them, don't they? So we need that as our sort of starting base. So it is a new month and we have got new merch, electric blue Akara merch. You guys are always saying how much you love my electric blue Akara, so I just thought, well, let's just make some merch. Mainly because I wanted it. But if you guys are interested and want to buy this, I'll leave a link to my shop up there somewhere. Down in the description, pin the first comment. Take a look at my stuff, plenty of other stuff to look at as well. Yeah, if you fancy it, pick one up. Other than just watching the videos, buy merch is by far the best way to further support the channel, if you want to, that is. And it's a win-win because like you get something cool out of it as well. Yeah, anyway, links below in the bargain everywhere.
I'll get it. Any more? Good.
Right, it's just a couple of bags of like regular sort of gravel. It's quite dirty. It's going to be like required to be cleaned. They're both different types, so it doesn't matter. It's what size is it? Particle size. Particle size 10 mm. 10 mm. It's like pea gravel. Absolutely perfect. Give it a good clean up, and then I put some bags. And that right there is why we wash anything that we buy from a builder's merchants. This is going to take a while.
Can't rush it.
Okay, there we go. There's some of the best half the gravel sort of washed. What I want to do now is put it in some media bags that I keep underneath my rainbow fish aquarium. Maybe this one? No, that's my tools. This one. There we go. Media bags. Now these media bags are pretty awesome. They're completely made of plastic, so like the zips won't rust or anything. They're perforated enough as well, so that roots can find their way into them and into the soil or any nutrients that's caught in between. So what we're going to do is fill all of these up with the gravel initially, and that'll be our sort of base. Then I'll do the same thing with aquasoil on top, and then cap the whole thing with sand. There we go, I've got 4 bags. They're sort of half filled each so that they lay nice and flat without getting too thick. Just chuck them in. Okay, sweet, that is the back layer done. Next up is the same thing again with the soil in 2 rows, one at the back on top of that, and then one in the foreground as well. And then we'll be ready to go. Now, I've been saving apple soil from other previous skates. I don't want to break them down, separate and keep the apple soil. It's expensive stuff, so it's worth, saving. And I've got lots of it
now on, okay?
down here. There we go. It's all quite wet. It's going to make a mess and be a bit of a pain, but it's going to be worth it as well. Okay, there we go. 6 bags later, a massive mess. Totally worth it. Let's put them in.
Chromebooks have the everything button, so you can find things instantly. Switch to Chromebook.
Spring savings are in bloom at Raymore and Flanagan. Get up to 30% off select items and 10% off.
Okay, there we go. Don't worry that not every single area is covered with the apple soil. That's fine. The roots and plants will find it. The next job is to cap the whole thing in a good inch of sand, an inch at the front, probably do a couple of inches at the back. So 1 bag is definitely not going to be enough there. I can use a couple, but I first of all want to fill in all this area here with like a different sort of colour that you can see it, because it's like, each quarter chuck in any spare stuff you've got. Put that there, so as an inch on top of all of that, and then I can push this lot back up. On top. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. You'll see anyway. Okay, that's what I mean. Now that looks ridiculous, doesn't it? But we're going to now scoop the front over it and then cap it a little bit more, some more of the actual sand colour that we're going to use. It's a lot more natural in my opinion. I mean, that's got its place, but not for what I'm trying to do this time. Now, the likelihood of it all staying completely separate is quite low. It will merge together over time, but it will look sort of natural, and do it in a natural way, It'll be quite sort of interdispersed. Is that right? I don't know if we're done with that. Next step is to go around, poke the finger in and look sure that the planting there, which we have. We've got at least an inch, possibly a little bit more, so we're all good. Plant anywhere in the whole tank. That's such a good deal of a rolling step. Nothing worse than start planting, you realise like into just doesn't work unless you put plant weights on and that sort of thing. It's just hassle, isn't it? So that is the basic substrate system fully set up. It might seem a little bit excessive. And when you go for these ecosystem tanks that I want to have minimal sort of input into in terms of maintenance, that kind of thing, you need to have that deep depth because it just creates more beneficial bacteria. It's just good at like consuming waste, waste from fish, plants breaking down, all that kind of thing. The bigger the substrate, it seems to be the better you get on it. To a point, of course, because otherwise it would just look ridiculous if it was half substrate. So yeah, that's okay. You go get some hard skate. Now, a couple of bigger tanks around here. Use other kinds of wood. I don't want to use those again. So yeah, in the Rainbow River underneath, that moss, is a load of spider wood or redmore root, that kind of thing. In the African fish aquarium, we've got some wood, and that's like real thick, big pieces. They're really imposing. Just a couple in there was enough. And then in the original ecosystem tank, we've got a load of manzanita wood, which is absolutely amazing. It's twisted, spindly, it looks great. But I want to go for something a bit different this time. What do you say we give it a shot and see what we've got? Steamy. Okay. Good, we're good. Right. So we're back at main head of base in Taunton, which is not Taunton, which is Wellington. Yeah. Here is Matt. Being out. No mask. Exciting times, isn't it? Full face reveal. Everyone's been waiting. Is that your best time? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, probably. I always find it funny when YouTubers do this. Like, why do we want to see under your
If you see anything unusual, use my powers to check it
Look
out.
at that, there's loads of cool.
Yeah, to be fair, running both ways, you know, having it upside down, having it that way, or having that, you've got the mounting pocket.
Yeah, you could do anything with that.
Yeah, so we've got that one that we've got. Really wicked one. This is my favourite. This is the Harrier jump jet.
Whoa! The wingspan.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that is an awesome piece.
Yeah, again, it could go sort of so many ways, couldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. If you have it sat upright, or you have it, lying down with catfish going inside. Yeah.
I tell you what, that's really well. Really bad, isn't it?
It's cool stuff, really. So you've got quite a few bigger bits. I think you can find something.
I think all Harry Jojo, we've got Harry Jojo, and then I do like this bit, and you go back down. No, like a list one. There's one. Just shouting. We've got multiple angles. You want to go too much, but we're not fun. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. And then I think we're more small if we sent another side of the wheel. What is it? So one strike. Did you used to have another strike? Yeah, that's pretty good. So I would probably put just because the other ones have got angles as well, so you want to try and sort of carry that theme if you can. Okay, that's all good. Now also, I want to pick up some of the first fish that's going to be going in as well. I'm thinking, have you still got those special called Galios?
Yeah.
Galaxy was still got the
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've got a big group down in there. So we'll take. So yeah, they're really nice, really smart. So really
okay, and definitely an awesome of those. And then the green was for us as well. I don't know how rare they are to other people, but to me they're rare, and I just want to grab some while we can. Yeah. And then we have some rainbows as well.
Yeah, so we've got Gertrude's rainbow. Gertrude.
Oh, Gertrude. Oh,
Yeah, up in the top there, so you can see there's a few of them knocking about in with the.
Is it male and females?
Yeah, there's males and females in there. So the males have got more yellow fins on their pectoral fins, and the females won't. So there's a little male at the top there. You can see that the pectoral fins are just a little bit more flicky.
Awesome. I love them.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Very different.
Really nice. So there you go. You've got a male that's over with the Cohaki guppies there.
This one,
Yeah, that's them.
Sweet.
So yeah, they're really good. We have got something that's a little bit different. So these little guys,
tiny little.
yeah, are tiny little swordtails. So they don't get any bigger.
Yeah,
Like they're still they're still related to the swordtail, but no bigger than like 3 or 4 centimeters fully grown. So a little bit of a pinky one, quite an interesting one. And then
Swordtails are renowned for being a little bit aggressive, are they alright?
those pinky ones really chilled out. We've kept them in with like baby crystal shrimps and things before. Never had a problem with them. So yeah, they're not.
And I'm always happy to go for them.
Yeah, the other thing, I don't catch like that. There are 4 little things to do.
Good. Okay. So we've got the roll, ready to go. I've actually got the fish with a storage tank over where the studio. I've actually got them all down here. Look, it's all in there together. They're absolutely fine. They're going to be together anyway, aren't they? But this tank's all cycled and doing well, so I just thought it makes sense for now. We don't have to rush the build. Right, I suppose there's no time at the present. Let's start skipping. Right, I always find a good move is just to chuck everything in like I have there. It's not quite what I want, but to be honest, that was perfect. I absolutely love it. Look at how boom, it's kind of right out that isn't. Now there's an option of placing one of these right underneath it as well. So we've got like the 2 points there, and then the one piece at the back there, which I will bring forward to be honest, because when it's sat right at the back, it'll just restrict the flow and make the whole thing a lot harder. Yeah, I'm going to adjust this one now, then I can adjust that one behind after, and just see how it looks as we go.
Get this. Because I can't get that.
Okay, we're on to something there. I'm loving that. It's not cohesive with the other side at all at the moment. We could try and sort that out as we go, like I said before, but I'm loving all the cracks and little places that the fish can hide. Remember, I have tons of small fish in here, so that's like the idyllic sort of environment. There can be like two separate islands where they can all sort of create their own homes. Homes. You know what I mean? Yeah, I need to adjust this one now. It just doesn't look right. So it certainly needs to come forwards and needs to be placed. And I think back, because we've already got this one forward, so one back might work well.
This place sure went downhill fast. I'd really prefer just to stay out. Ha! See that towel?
Yeah, loving it. Right, once I twisted the angle more, it just gave the direction. We've got that, we've got that, we've got that, then we've got the opposite there, and it just kind of just works, doesn't it? We've got our Harrier jump jet just swooping in. This is the aeroplane tank, it will be known as. I might just push this whole thing back a little though, just so there's some slight bit of separation and gap between those 2 points. Although they're quite cool, they're acting as like a sort of depth perception thing. Now leave it as it is because then I can put more plants in this area. So I've used that rounded stone there to pop it up and it looks pretty good. I might go have got a few more of those, just dot them about, not too many. I don't want to overrun this whole tank with like hardscape because I want so many plants going. Remember it's an ecosystem tank, so it needs a lot of plants, a lot of areas to plant into, but as well as sort of covering on their own. They'll grow into the space a lot as we progress, you see. Now the only issue is I haven't got many of those stones in that colour, so over here in the hardscape section, we've got lots and lots of different rocks, but the actual rounded ones like that, I suppose that's the closest to it. Then we've got ones that are slightly off, do more of a little bit. But I suppose they don't have to be the same. In nature, you don't always get the exact same coloured rocks all falling together. So I'm just going to go over a little bit of a mismatch. Why not? Wing it.
You can set repeat deliveries on a more scale or on gifts. Pickup, simply upload you. So you can pack that and go.
Looking pretty sweet. I mean, don't overthink it. Just keep stuck in there. I mean, the plants make everything look beautiful anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much. My one main tip when choosing a hardscape is just get big bits as you can for your big tank. And get as much bang for your buck. And look at that. It's got the whole height of the tank. You know, we've not got tiny little stones either. You've got to go out somewhere to your garden, dig it up and find some rocks and clean them off, whatever. Do that. But a load of these smaller pebbles now, which I think will go really well as like accents around this. I'm also going to be using even finer ones, but loads of details right over it.
What's this?
Look at that. I mean, I couldn't get any matching colours of the bigger ones, so I thought just make the whole thing multicoloured. Now, it looks a bit odd like that because there's such a stark contrast between the sand and the rocks. Well, it's not a stark contrast. Once it's wet there will be a big difference between the two, and that is why I'm going to be using this stuff here, the Rio Chingu, however you pronounce that. It's just an absolute mix. I don't know why I'm showing you the box. It needs washing first. I'm going to use this whole bag to be honest. It needs washing, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to dry it as well because it'll look just odd with wet gravel in there. Plus I find that if it's dry, it falls better. So this little tip there, if you're going to do detail stones, make sure they're dry. They fall in a much more natural way and you don't have to sort of manoeuvre them in any way at all. They just go really good show.
Like we're not alone.
Now, I know, lots of you get very cross at me calling and putting sediment down the drain like that. Remember, I've got a massively high-powered pump there, which I use to suck out all the water from my aquariums. That just unreels and goes wherever I want. And that actually blasts water down on the pipework. Not to mention on the second floor, so none of it gets it picks up super fast speed and just flies out the drainage wherever it goes. But to be honest, I don't really wash gravel that often. There's not really a lot that goes down there. I used to do it way more at home without all of these pipe to drop it and pump it in. All okay. So, like always, guys, when you hang the detail stones, you're going to take the above it and just let go gently. Just let it hit the points of the rocks or the pebble or whatever, and let it fall where it wants to go. And that's like gives you the most sort of natural look. And then you get little bits like this here, where there's like no stones out, it's a bit of natural. So if you just edge a little bit in there, there you go. Look at that. Natural look. And then if you want to, you can throw some there, throw some there. But the point is, don't be too extra careful with it. It's supposed to look like it's cool. You can get moved around when you eventually put some nice rare coolies in here anyway. I mean, I don't know about you, but to me, that looks insanely natural. Love it, absolutely lovely. Some people find that like a messy look. I love that it's a messy look. It just looks like the bottom of some sort of river path or something like that. And once we add in all the different colours and that, it's good. First of all, what I need to do is move on to any next stage is glue this wood to the rocks. I'm pretty sure this stuff just sinks anyway, but I do not want to take any chances. When I fill this tank here, this is my Colombian.
Oh, it started raining, that's cool. I haven't seen it rain yet.
Filling up, this whole big piece at the back just lifted up, but not when that happened again.
And I can feel the raindrops on the controller.
This stuff is
so nice.
Super glue gel form, which means that you can put it in between cracks and it fuses both sides, if you like. It dries pretty quickly. 24 hours gives you a proper solid bond. You can speed it up with certain agents and that, but just get it done, go home and then come back the next day. So you can tell how much I love it because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was an offer at my local shop, so I just bought a lot.
Probably stuck fast. Can't stay fast over time. Switch to Olive.
I really don't want to waste my skill points on fights so early.
So I walked in this morning and completely forgot I'd actually done this yesterday. Good news is there was cool stuff. Yeah, you guys know it, the international test for stuckability. You know, a good hard tap. So I'm going to stuck it at 2 points down there, point down there on the knee. I'll even put a rock at the back there to help out. Rock out the back on that side. So it's just stuck on multiple points. That is not going anywhere. Which means you can start pointing, yay! So late last week, so what's that, 4 days ago, I received my order of plants and I'm storing them next door. Yeah, here we go, I've got them down here, that's a bit speeded up, but we've got so many good plants, we've got loads of S-weapons, loads of different Java plants, we've got the window, we've got Narrow, we've got Triangle, we've got Hydrocottle Japan there, we've got News Quick Chrome Java, Quick Chrome Polisi, loads of breaches, and hydrophil up in this feeder back there. I'm going to use most of these. And lots of you would say that I overplant. Yeah, I do. And I'm going to start with some mosses. I've got some Taiwan moss here, Java moss Taiwan. Taxiphyllum Alton and Taiwan. Yeah, so basically, once it grows in, it looks like this, similar to this. I think this is Weeping, or it's Taiwan. I think that is, I don't even know anymore. Anyway, to get that look, you need to wrap the wood with the moss and also with cotton thread. So yeah, look, I've got this cotton thread here, that's pretty stuff. It's green as well, so you don't really see it. And what it does is just wraps it right onto the wood. It means that when you come to trim it later on, like, it doesn't move around loads, and it just stays really compacted good. So for this one, you need to do not so much. Like this thing here is very moss heavy, isn't it? It looks great, but it will just look the same if we do that again. So I'm just going to do it on some like focal points of the edges of a few of the sticks. And the rest, I'm just going to do like more Java, Fernie, and more Lucy. No, say anymore. Right, so I'm going to wet the wood first, because if you wet it, kind of the moss sort of sticks to it a little bit better in the areas you want. I don't actually know where I want it exactly yet, so I'm just going to wet everything. There we go, actually that's really showing up the colours as well. It's so good.
Oh, what's this?
No.
So the big black pieces of rock like there use a different tactic. What I like to do is flexi glue. I used to use the gel glue for this, but it's a bit lost on using moss now. I just use normal super glue, so I like that super glue. Not gel film, it's just thin stuff, spouting things as well, you can buy stuff again.
Do I have any more peanut butter?
Yeah,
I think I finished it. There might be some in there. I recall finishing it. I don't remember if I had enough bread to finish it.
It just looks so ugly. It makes it all very white. So nice to right, a little bit. Voila!
Huh?
Okay, awesome.
Just order bread, just order.
I know, but like, I had peanut butter.
Well, that's enough moss for this game.
Before that.
There. And I want a lot of other parts going on this wood as well, to be honest.
So I find it's the new.
It's
probably on the bridge.
It's going to be that little bit there, isn't it, if we step back? It's going to be two, to be honest. It's going to be that bit, and then that bit higher. So one higher than the other, I find often, that works really well. Just so happens that this setup has allowed it without us sort of making the plants go higher unnaturally, do you know what I mean? So if there was a gap in there, I'd find a way to raise up plants in there. But naturally it's going to sit right in this top section, and then we've got a load in that lower thing. So you just always, no, it's better when they're not on the same level.
Oh my gosh.
It's got that negative area in the middle there.
She hit different if I
okay, so
did it. I don't have to do it. Oh, there's a green sweater. Oh, cool.
So for the planting, we have got tropical plants first.
Maybe green is the win. Fire.
I like to try to throw lower. I really like to do it better with it's flat. And then I like to put the windmill variety, which is like a normal
I like the enemy variants.
For no apparent reason at all, it just goes. What is that? I don't know, and I like it, and it's going in. And as always, nice and simple to prepare the plants. Pour this rock all around them. Peel off most of it.
There's one in there.
Take those.
I need to make it.
And then you just take the fork and just scrape off any of the excess full of the nutrients because they're grown in water that's nutrient dense. And the rock all soaks all that up. So yeah, we'll remove as much of it as we can. And there we go, we can put that into the tank. Now to attach this one, we can either just cram it into little gaps, or we can attach it with the cyanoacrylate superglue gel. Not harmful to fish, shrimp, plants, it's all good. It basically goes into a hard plastic straight away. Many of you watch the channel will be sick of me saying that. I'm just going to have to say it for newcomers because I get loads of messages somewhere saying, you can't use blue. It's all safe, guys.
There's only one shrine, that's the thing. One shrine that I found.
Great protection and great low rates you want? Yep. Click for a great auto rate today.
Did we see if we had everything for... Let's get 3 of those caps now.
Well, that's the trident fern done. It looks absolutely brilliant. Now it's time for it to pick up.
Oh, I hate this.
Cousin? Whatever. It's the bigger version, the Windows. Like I said, I want to put this apart so it adds more sort of thickness to those focal areas.
all the way around the whole construction site.
I mean, that looks pretty good just like that, right? But you know we're not going to stop that. Not by a long shot. Right, next up, Bobitus, I think, because when you've got the white wings, the dark wing of Bobitus works really well in sort of gaps near the surface. It works really well in high flow as well, which is where most of those will be, is right at the top of it. So, yeah, Bobitus in that area, I reckon, somewhere over there, something like that. So there's a few things going on here that just make everything work, and they're very simple to be honest, and it's stuff that people forget they can do easy. First of all, those three plants, Javaflow, Bobitus, and Moss, three of them just go together like a holy trinity or something. They just work. Everything was as good as it was free. Secondly, if you've got a two-sided scale, it's tend to find if you do matching on both in terms of actually plant types. Not the exact same amount. So, for instance, we've got a lot more Bobitus, it's a funny saying, Bobitus, on this side, and then there's just a small touch bit in that corner. But there is still a hint of it, so it shows more sort of naturalness that the plant can grow anyway. Now, we kept what I said as well, lower on one side, higher on the other, and I love it. I'm absolutely loving it. It's one of the best I've made, I think, so far, in terms of hardscape and the plants. Right, now let's go crazy.
XP. What can we do? Sweater one's only 15.
Back to work.
Okay, a few hours later, and we're done with the initial planting. I say initial planting because we've still got stems to go in the background, but I like to do that when there's water in it. I just find that they sit better and I can see them doing a little bit better. The reason it took so long, I suppose, is because I was going into loads of little detail in these border areas, and I think it's really paid off. So we've got lots of Anubias petite, the Bucephalandra types, and then, like, you know, just little bits here and there, like that there, and then that little one just on the edge. I think it just adds more character, and these little touches, yeah, they take a lot more time. You know, like that rock in the front there, and then this little one here, it all takes extra time. It's so worth it. Because look at the result we've got, looking so good. Now, I have used a lot of pots for this. I wouldn't expect you guys to be using that many. So we've probably got about £400 or $600 worth of pots in total, including the stems we've got going on as well. Now, the average for this, that's going to be way too much, isn't it? I'd say use a third of that to start with, and then let everything grow in. Now, obviously, I'm an entertainment channel as much as I am an educational, and I like to go for that sort of finished impact look straight away, therefore I can spend more money and buy more plants, which I don't mind. At the end of the day, this is my main income on YouTube, and I've been talking for too much and they're starting to dry out, so now I'm going to fill the tank up with water. Right, so now the next day, I just quickly want to show you what I walked into this morning, just so you're not completely freaked out if this happens to you. So I've gone strolling on in, looking over the tank, and what is going on with my water? Why is it all brown and murky? Watching this on the surface. Right, so the water has released an absolute ton of tannins into the water. To be expected, it's not a problem. We can just do a quick water change. And actually, to be honest, for that amount of wood, that's not that bad. I've had it way worse before. So a quick water change, and we can get a filter and get a bit of water with it as well. There we go, looking great again. So I'm going to put filter in. We're going to be using this one here, which is exactly the same as that one there, that's in the ecosystem aquarium.
How do I get up there?
Lots in one place, but you know, it starts off with a heavy flow and then just gets gentle around the tank. Which means it can look like really crazy and forceful right in front of it. And it's fine over, you see over here, all the plants are just gently. I've also got the same one in the regular fish aquarium as well, but it's like the next sort of size up. It really does blast, but then they like the high flow. We've got smaller fish going in the new aquarium, the rare fish aquarium, so we want a smaller filter. Right, now we're moving, we're looking good, we've got really good flow. That's the key to a successful aquarium, if I'm honest, is just keeping all that rubbish off the floor and into the filter back there, which you can just clean out once every couple of weeks or so. Well, it's time to put in the stem plants. That's why I've waited till now, because I want to make sure the filter's in first. So I'm just going to go around all my tanks and just take some clippings of absolutely everything. I mean, I've got different types of stem plants everywhere, and what I want to do is just sort of create a mix of everything, so it should look really sort of natural-like. The reason I've decided that is because we've got such a good mix in the foreground. I think we should go for a real rough, natural look in the back as well. It's not everyone's cup of tea. People like to keep like certain stems in bunches. I don't really like that. I just like a wildflower look. So we've got an absolutely great selection there to start with. We've got all different types of Rotala, we've got HR, we've got regular rotundifolia. I've got Rotala green as well, which is on that hand there. We've got all these stems here, they're going to be called Rotala founder as well. And they're all going really fast. Actually, it does go really fast. That's the kind of plant after all this flow, and there's a good level. But we have got two of these light blasting done, so it should be okay. All I'm going to do is take a punch like that, place it into some of the filter floss, and just stick one of the plant weights, or stick it into one of the plant weights, and then place it into the sand and really just work their way out and find their way in. You don't need it to be any more complicated than that. I don't want to plant these all individually because in the high flow, the filter's going to get ripped up. I might have to adjust the flow, but we'll see once we get it in. I just find it all works better when they stay in bunches like this. Plus, you can put them out and move them around if you want to, anything like that.
Have a break.
Where do they want me to go from?
So it's now time to put our fish in. Now, the reason I put them down in this tank here is because this whole thing's being broken down soon. It's too low. I don't like it down there. I'm going to build a whole new stand for the whole thing. Put the histograma as well in there. Again, that's why I've not bothered with the tanks. I mean, it's just algae, they're all good. And we'll be keeping the harlequin tank at the top here because it just looks great. But again, I want a different stand. It needs to be higher, so the second layout is higher too. Down there, I'm never going to look at it, never doing like proper maintenance and things like that I need to do to keep it looking good. So yeah, break that down, pick out all the fish. Oh yeah, I'm just bedding the cories, guys. Look, look how big they are. They all come to the front. There's more than that. I've only just done it though. There's a few at the back as well. There'll be a few around the sides. Let's see, yeah, they're all tucked in everywhere. So cool. Woo! So I don't know what that means for. So I've collected up all the fish. Now, it doesn't look like a huge amount in the jar thing ready to go in this massive tank, but, you know, put them in, see how they're looking, and then maybe get some more. Again, you don't want to put too many fish into a new setup, but the bio-load of all the ones I've got is going to be, like, negligible in such a big tank. We'll just see how it looks. Okay, here we go. We only really get one shot of this, so hopefully it looks good. In you go, fishies! Woohoo! Loads of them! Oh, he's alright, so start. Make sure he lands upright, or down right, or whatever. Okay, yeah, he's good. Okay, this is the cool bit. This is what I'm interested in. Where are they all going to go? First of all, a lot of them seem to be down this back area here. Oh, no, there's loads around this side. Okay, so you've done a lap. You've done a lap against the flow currently. So this is the green restorers maybe here. Not looking sort of fully coloured up. They're going to be a little bit stressed, but look at that. What a shot. Then that yellow one is the pink swordtail. I think that's back at the moment. Come to the front, guys. Okay, so definitely, it's interesting. I'm looking at there's definitely room in here for more fish, isn't there? Because I only want those kind of bananas. Let's say we just go quickly. I'll get some more, come back, and put them in. Matthew. Any more fish? I was long now and I wanted a pig. I didn't film it, so it's obviously been there already, but with a load of fish, it picks up some really cool ones. I'm going to put them all one by one, nice and quick, and I'm going to show you them all together so it's so good. Okay, some of you might be thinking, where's the heater in this tank? Don't worry, I heat the whole room. It's far more efficient when you put this many tanks to just heat the whole room rather than individual ones. So in this room is tropical temperatures already, which means that I'm temperature acclimating the fish right now just by letting them sit in the room. So after like 20 minutes or so, put them in it.
I don't have dog food, do I?
Sounds like it wants dog food.
I mean, I can't be the only one that thinks this is absolutely awesome. There is a lot of small, tiny fish there. Again, it's not a huge byload though, but you probably think we've just set this tank up. How can we put that? Oh my goodness, look at all the rainbows. So we've got two different types of rainbows. We've got the guppies, we've got two sets of live bearers as well, which means that from the swordtails, we're going to have tons of babies. But yeah, getting back to cycling the tank, lots of people do cycling of a tank before they put fish in. I do what's called a fish in cycle, which is a lot more work, if I'm honest, but it's just the way I like doing it. So I'm going to add beneficial bacteria now, and then every single day I'm going to do a 50% water change for about 2 weeks. And I'll be testing the water regularly as well, making sure that there's no spikes in ammonia, nitrate, that kind of thing. There shouldn't be at all, to be honest, because we're doing so much water changes, there's no chance for sort of any levels of toxicity to rise. Look at how cool this looks just standing back. It's so good, isn't it? Yeah, I opted for a few more chili spores where I just stuck the first 10 wasn't enough, so I should have about 20 in there now. I mean, that did just take a big scoop, so it could be more, it could be less, I don't know. And of course we've got the emerald water spore as well in there, which I think is the celestial Paldania. Where's the celestial Paldania? There's the emerald spore right behind it. There's a little spore. Where's he gone? Oh my goodness, this is going to be impossible, isn't it? I'll have to get my tripod out with some manual focus going on, I think, because the camera, it's so small, the camera doesn't know where to pick up. But look, the whole tank, just look at it, it's just so good, isn't it? Wow, look at them all collecting at the top. So guppies will sort of tend to float near the top the most. You've got one of your rainbow fish there as well, the two varieties, and they're going to also hang around that top section. That's why I went and got those, because I want action around the tank. And we've got the green restorer giving us all the action sort of lower down to mid-level. The swordtails seem to go anywhere they want. And then right at the bottom, we've got those laser queries as well. There's a couple right there in that middle section. They were at the front just a second ago, but set them in straight away, which is awesome. But yeah, first things first, beneficial bacteria.
Oh, you don't like this, little potato. This is your future.
So it takes 340 litres, basically 10 full sort of capfuls there of the API Quick Start I use, beneficial bacteria. Now, because I'm going to do water changes every day, if needed, if I take out 50%, I'll reintroduce the beneficial bacteria again. I just find this is the safest way of doing it. And then we use more product, but I want to ensure the safety of the fish first and foremost. Like I said, I'll come in tomorrow morning, do a water test, and that will tell me if I need to do any water changes. If I pick up any ammonia at all, any nitrite, I will just do a big water change. I am just so happy with the final result. I couldn't have dreamt that it would turn out like this. This is surpassed my wildest sort of dreams. I think this is my favourite tank I've ever created, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it too.
I guess I'm not gonna be able to give him a dog for right away. Wait, there's a shop here.
Maybe I'll buy something. You can use these to freeze enemies in place. I hate waiting for people to shop. Oh, boo-hoo.
Where it went, to be honest. There's not much of an ecosystem and constantly picking out of it. Once a month is what I want to go for. The people really, I can already see just like shrimp got about. So they're obviously doing very good there. But some of the plants I can see back there, they're suffering, and that's because they're liking. So the first thing I want to do is get some of those growth plants out. There's usually just a couple of these little baby ones again, and then it should be, I think, in terms of right now. So how do I put the big ones up there apart from the distance? Yeah, it's like a pop type on that. The roots actually all the way down the bowl now and into the substrate underneath. So it's getting nutrients from the substrate, it's getting CO2 from the air as well. There's no surprise it's covered the whole surface in no time at all. I mean, you probably have grown even more, but you can space for it. So that is all of the floating plants out, apart from the ones that I'm going to keep, so just those few there. And you can see already, look, the X reference. Come on. There we go, right down there. The edge reference is taking a hit on the lower leaves. So the top parts are nice and green still, because they're closer to the light. But yeah, you can see it there. Look. So I'm just going to cut them right back, and they should grow back okay now. They're the only actual plant in there that requires medium light, I'd say. It's not going to do well with low light. Nobody's actually suggested it needs medium. Well, I've found that it grows like everywhere. And just quickly, right next to the tank there, we've obviously got the rainbow fish ground. And also, you guys have a big one in the morning. Well, look, it's very early. Look, there is now a hundred or something. There's a million of these so that is really cool. Whatever this side has got the rainbow money as well, it's even more vibrant than usual. Look at that. Still a tickler, still growing. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that because I don't always patch it. I don't usually do a lot on this tank in the morning, you see, when I'm filming, but we're right next to it and it just caught my eye. Yeah, I'll be adding more rainbow fish. I'll be adding more rainbow fish to this tank soon, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be pretty special. It's a serious close over at the moment as well, which I absolutely love and dancing in. All the background plants that have grown back as well.
After this mission, I'll turn on GTA.
But yeah, anyway, focusing back on the bowl, I think the most obvious thing to do next is the bowl. Let's trim this right back and go really, really far down. Last time I left like a little bit of it, it was too much. I need to go to like the tiniest amount there.
The Home Depot distribution centers have everything pros need, with more choices, more sizes, and more inventory for large quantity ordering. Make that a train size. Delivery direct to the job site as soon as possible.
So to make it.
Yeah, 2 minutes later, we're done. I've seen quite a few actually. When I've been cutting that, you can shoot off left, right, and centre. So I know there's a good population booming in there. Now I looked at that and thought, yeah, that's enough. But no, it's not. That's what I did last time. I need to go even lower, right down here. Okay, now we're getting there. Look, I trimmed it right down. So much more light coming in, and you can see what I'm talking about now. Some of the issues in the plants. So on this side here and here, this is yellowy. I'm just going to trim it right down on that base area. Just let
dodging. That's so sweet.
Before some of you start saying, you've got famous chorus, whatever, they're everywhere. So down here, this is what the actual should look like. It's growing so nicely. You can see the one on top there, fresh growth, it's super bright and green. And the ones below it are sort of golden growing out of water. But they'll still continue to grow, they just look at this vibrant, it's a brand new one. That's what we're going to look at. To do that, like I say, all we need to do is just come around and snip away to the point where there's dead leaves. So we are looking really small again, it's opened it all up nicely. The only other thing that I had to take out is these here, and that's from the hyperfeeder ability feeder. This one that we're seeing starting to come out the top, well, further down, because of all the great parts, there's no light basically going through. The top leaves are absolutely brilliant, but these ones here, it's okay, it's normal growth. In fact, it really is starting to come out the top. There we go. Really is starting to come out the top now. Grow up there, flowers. So look at this tank over here. This is my low-tech albino cherry barnsler. And this plant, I've just left it, and left it. Look at that! It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Such a nice plant, purple. Now I've got the light on. There we go, with the light on. I mean, it's not massively, has it? So yeah, that's just over 2 months now for the ecosystem trial. It's still going strong, it's still got good plants, you know, they're all healthy, people bounce back apart from a few of them. We've still got loads of the shooting there. I mean, as it's staying still here now, I'm seeing more and more. They did hide for a bit, because obviously I jumped in there and started moving everything around, but even now, there's more and more appearing out. Come on take a look around, the new surroundings. Oh, I love it to go with this. So yeah, no more changes. It's just thriving, isn't it? Now, big factor in this, of course, is that they've got a pretty low air. Plants that don't need a lot of light, so they're growing well, but there isn't enough for the algae to sort of grow or anything like that. So it's just staying looking perfect.
Let's use those.
We get a whole city view finally.
So this right here is the rare ecosystem.
I mean, we did that one trippy spot where it made me dizzy.
Nothing too major.
Yeah, I really didn't want to show Uncle because it made me that dizzy.
The same thing early on in a new setup. Right,
it looked like we were actively falling and standing still at the same time.
Everything was perfect, but as we get a little bit closer, now bear in mind when we're 3 weeks in, let's take a look. See these bubbles? That is from all of the sort of string algae, I guess, that's on the surfaces of the wood. Here we go, let's take a look at this one back here. You can see it a lot more. Now, to be honest, that is actually way less than it was a few days ago. So what have I done to get it to go back the other way? Because remember, ecosystem tank, I'm not doing tons of water changes. So what I did, first of all, I tested the water. I said in an Instagram post recently, before you start adjusting lighting and all those kind of things, you need to know what the tank is doing in terms of water chemistry. Because if you've got massive amounts of nitrates, for instance, you're going to have algae. So it didn't. Everything's perfect, which is wonderful, because nothing worse than when all of your you've got a chemical imbalance and you don't know why. The next thing I did, as soon as I knew that all the water was good, I reduced the lighting period. Now this is not something I usually do at all, but I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go this time. I reduced the lighting period by 2 hours, and already I can see that it's cutting back now. So all of that stringiness you can see there was like 3 or 4 times the size.
Did I ever get that dog?
Over all of the Bobitis and the Java ferns as well here, and there isn't any on there anymore, which is great. Now I did recently get a little bit of this as well over here on the rainbow fish aquarium. Now there's nothing left of this now. Look at that moss. It looks so good. It looks like you can sleep a lot saying nothing. There's a couple more strands here. But the whole thing was coated in it, so that's obviously the last of it on its way out. We'll have to zoom in on the one bit that's got some, haven't we? But yeah, so what I did here on this one, I didn't reduce the lighting, and all I did was stick in the floating plants, didn't I? So up here, you can see on this side we've got some floating plants, and over here we've got some. And that's not even a huge amount, is it? But it's a big plant, and they seem to just suck up the excess nutrients, which means, you know, even though we've got a decent amount of lighting here with this custom sort of and floodlights I've done, even though it's blasting those areas with light,
I don't want to jump all the way down.
it's still not getting the algae because we've got so much good, healthy plants going, and I really think
right here is good.
Essential mist aroma fragrances for an exhilarating blend of essential oils. Curate.
No. Make a massive difference as well. So what I'm going to do is add some to this on top of the slightly reduced lighting levels. When it's all cleared off, which it will clear off, I'm going to add those light levels back again because I like having 12 hours. They're at 10 at the moment, but everything else in the room is at 12. The reason being is most of the time I'm here for 12 hours and I like everything on. Quite a lot of people recommend 8 to 10, some say 6 to 8, but I've always got on well with the full 10 hours. I mean, some of my tanks are stunning, I think, and I've always gone by that number and it's worked well. You know, many people similar tanks around me here. They're just doing absolutely fantastic with that 12 hours of lighting. So I don't really want to just start going down from that, but if it's needed, of course, I will. But I think we can rein this one in so it can stick with 12. You know, it's a big tank, it's loads of plants, it should be good. And what else is really good as well? At the moment, I'm not shy of floating plants.
Well, when you have one,
Setup, I've got all my shrimp here.
Oh, you're
initially, I put in some floating plants to help out in these tanks. But since then, I've done a lot more research in sort of shrimp.
Please take me to the treasure I can't find.
Want algae everywhere. Not like red algae, but the crusty sort of
that place.
You get on the sides and back of the tank and really scratch off or scrape off or brush off, whatever. I stopped doing that now with these tanks. Still not developing it because it's so good and great about to soften up nutrients. So the fact that we're going so fast with such luscious, healthy root systems coming out of them means that they're such a big
probably a rare
the reason we use the algae buildup is to leave them the babies, whenever they come out, they land something, right? And they don't do it immediately. So we need that healthy code to let us sort of just big storm, but like pet that continuously. And also a lot of things can fish there you go. That is baby in the area. I've just treated the tank, treated this one as well just to be sure because I have been sharing sort of different elements of those switching across. So if that fill up that blue area, if that get that, you just need to have the stuff on hand.
Oh, it's a picture, so it's going to be on the wall.
Tangled together. Now I've got really long root systems on these ones. A little bit too long for the tank, it's blown around everywhere. So what I've done is taken them and just cut them in half basically. That's most of them anyway, so they were way shorter. They were like double the length of that. Now, lots of you are going to mention in the comments, but don't say, this is mini water lettuce. I don't know the scientific name or anything. All I know, they used to get the giant ones, and then I found you could get the mini ones, and they do stay pretty mini, or rather they multiply so fast that after 7 months you take out the biggest ones and you're left with lots of the smaller ones. And that's a really good amount of style, and we'll just use that. There we go, look, they're in. Now before, when I added the float plants to the rainbow fish aquarium, it just flew around everywhere to start with, so they found a place to settle in, which is what we've done now.
Right down to 7 foot.
We could be alright, we might have found a place to settle away. But they get lost somewhere, the best bet is just to leave them to it. So I think we've done really well there. We've set 2 tanks right, I think they're tips, if you're struggling with a few things yourself. Now these are both ecosystem tanks, unfortunately there, you can't see that.
What?
These ecosystem tanks, every water changes just pop up, so they try and solve problems.
It's not actually pointing to
like that. I mean, let's face it, they're not a huge problem. This one could be there if we don't get on top of it, so hopefully that's sorted. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.
I put that marker there, it's just a circle on the map by default.
When we step into the new day, determined, committed, willing to take.
Okay, no messing about, straight in. So behind me, there's eggs guys, straight away. They've been in there for 3 days. So some of you might not know what I'm talking about. Let me take you back a little bit, just explain how it's going on. So 1 week ago, I created the tank of the electric blue power. The goal was to create something quite natural for the fish, but also was massively impactful on the art. I do think we achieved that, but I wasn't expecting success like this so quickly. I moved the fish into the aquarium, and pretty much straight away they went in here. Now we did this for around about half a day. I kept peeking around the back area to see if I could see them. It was starting to get a little bit more brave as time went by. Then I left it alone for a little bit. And when I came back, I was really happy to see that one of them had come forward. It was the biggest one of the bunch and the most confident as well. And then soon after, almost as if the first one had had some confidence, they all started coming forward. This was awesome to see. It made me really excited, and I was really happy they were interacting with the environment that I created for them. So yeah, in the space of no time at all, we've got babies. Now, it's quite common when you move fish to a new environment, if they're ready to spawn, they will spawn, and that's like a defense mechanism, trying to ensure the survival of the species that can grow. But I honestly don't expect this.
Because it's
I'm not angry, I'm excited. So yeah, like I say, fish have been in here now for 2 days, if that, 1.5. So I kept seeing this one here. This is, I'm pretty sure this is the male. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's a female. Anyway, right on that leaf where he or she is, oh, how far I film it. Turn this out so you can kind of see. I don't get too close because I don't want to cause anything to happen. Now, I can't get straight on. So when you go sideways and glass it, that's straight on, you get a really good focus, but let's see how it works. So I'm zooming right in there, right? So that bottom leaf there looks kind of browny. Now let me try something else. There we go. I don't see the point of focus. Maybe this will work a bit better. Can you see that? Can you make it out? Kind of this, kind of isn't, I don't know. But anyway, that whole Amazon sword leaf there is covered in eggs. And you can see this is the male or female, I don't know. I mean, she lets them out. Look at that water thing going right over the back. It does have a little cheeky thing though. And then apparently the men have that as well. This is a fish wing. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do with this one is leave them to their own devices at the moment anyway. Just leave the fish to do their thing, their parenting, and just observe. And when they get to the point of free swimming wigglers, that's when I might remove them and put them in a different tank. Now over here in the Amazon aquarium, if you remember rightly, Living and Ramsley, they spawned before as well. Got to the point where we had free swimming wigglers, and I didn't remove them, and as a result, all of the tetras sort of just picked them off one by one in the darkness. So that was a bit sad about that. I mean, I haven't actually done it since. Maybe that's because I don't do many water changes, that kind of thing. I'll probably spur it on with a bit of like blood work and things like that. In fact, I might do that soon. But moving back over, I mean, thinking about it, this tank isn't full of tetras, is it? It's just got all of our free blue acaras in here. So it might be okay just to leave us to do everything completely. There's plenty of places for the babies to hide if they need to. I don't know what they're like as parents. I need to do a bit of research. I haven't really researched anything at the moment. I've just picked up the camera and started filming with you guys because I was just so excited about it. No, don't eat. Are you eating or are you cleaning? No, because oh no, he's prepping. That's a clean bit. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this so soon, so I've not done any research. Just trying to put the camera down now, do a little bit of research, try to get back to you, we can all learn something together. And anyone who knows a lot about these guys, yeah, just chime in whenever in the comments. So it's now day 3 since I first spotted the eggs, and they're progressing nicely. Everything's still pretty much the same. We've still got the mother or father just hovering there. I mean, it's got to be a mother, right? Surely. Anyway, so they're just hovering there, overlooking everything. But guess what? I can now see eyes in the eggs. Okay, so obviously this has been really hard for the cows, but there are the eggs. Oh no, now they're all feeding. It's not feeding time, guys. They're all coming forward now. They're completely comfortable with me at this stage. They're not shy at all. Obviously, the mother there, it's got to be the mother, isn't it? It's just hanging over the eggs and all protecting it. So what I do, when I'm doing feeding at the moment, I'm sprinkling over that area so some drops down.